Hello students, in the previous class we saw about soil and its types, distribution of soil and about soil erosion, soil degradation, and finally we saw the methods to conserve and maintain the fertility of the soil. In today's class we will see about irrigation and its importance and also the types of irrigation carried out in India. Irrigation. Irrigation is defined as watering of agricultural plants through artificial means. That is, during the periods of less or average rainfall or during water scarcity, water is supplied to the agricultural lands at regular intervals by means of canals, well, and other artificial methods. Therefore, it leads to a development in agricultural field. Now let us see the sources of irrigation. The main sources of irrigation used in different parts of the country are canal irrigation, well irrigation and tank irrigation. Among these, well irrigation is the most important source of irrigation, because about 62% of the agricultural land in India are benefited by this well irrigation. Now let us see in detail about each type of irrigation. Well irrigation. A well is a hole which is drilled vertically in the earth's surface for bringing the groundwater to the surface. We know that groundwater is trapped in between the rocks below the ground level. So in order to bring that groundwater to the surface, deep holes are drilled. Well irrigation is very essential in the region of low rainfall. It is also an essential one where the canals and tank irrigation are not available. Wells are of two types. They are open wells and tube wells. Open wells are larger in diameter than the tube wells. Open wells. Open well type of irrigation is commonly practiced in the areas where there is sufficient amount of groundwater. The areas like Ganga Plains, the deltaic region of Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri and parts of Narmada and Tapti valleys implement this open well type of irrigation. Tube wells. Tube well type of irrigation are developed in the areas of low water table, that is, where the underground water level is very deep. In order to implement this tube well type of irrigation, there must be a sufficient power supply and soft subsurface. That is, the subsurface should not have any hard rocks. Tube wells are very popular in the states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Canal irrigation. Canal irrigation is the second most important source of irrigation in our country. A canal is an artificial channel that is constructed to carry water to the fields to perform irrigation. The water is taken to the canals either from the river or reservoirs. There are two types of canals. They are inundation canals and perennial canals. The inundation canals receive their water directly from the rivers without making any kind of barrage or dam. Barrage is an artificial barrier built across the river in order to prevent flood. So these inundation canals receive their water directly from the river. So, mostly these canals remain operational only during the rainy season because only when the river has its sufficient water, the canal receives its water. The second type of canal is the perennial canals. As you can see and guess from the name itself, these canals are developed from the perennial rivers by constructing barrage to regulate the flow. We have already studied about the perennial rivers. The rivers which have water throughout the year are said to be perennial rivers. The perennial canals receive water from these perennial rivers and they remain functional throughout the year. In our country, most of the canals fall under this category. These canals are useful for irrigation. Tank irrigation. Tank irrigation is a very old type of irrigation system in India. A tank is a natural or man-made hollow on the surface. That is, tanks are either a natural hollow on the earth's surface or they might be constructed artificially by humans. Rainwater is collected in these tanks, which serves not only for irrigating agricultural lands, but also it is used for other purposes. Tanks are usually constructed either of earth or concrete. Irrigation from lakes and ponds comes under the tank irrigation. For example, we have many lakes and ponds in and around Pondicherry. You would be aware of that. These lakes and ponds serves for various purposes. That is, they not only irrigate the agricultural lands but also they serve for domestic purposes. So the irrigation from lakes and ponds comes under the tank irrigation. The tank irrigation is very popular in the peninsular India, that is in the South India, due to the following reasons. Tank irrigation is very popular in the region where there is low rainfall and a seasonal rainfall, and also in the regions where there is absence of perennial rivers. Tank irrigation is usually constructed where it is difficult to dig canals and wells due to the presence of hard rocks. The natural depressions, that is the natural hollow on the earth's surface, serves as tanks or reservoirs. They are surrounded by non-porous rocks which do not allow the leakage of water. Modern irrigation methods. There are many ways in modern irrigation. Among them, the most commonly practiced type of modern irrigation methods in India are drip irrigation, pivot irrigation and rain gun. First we will see about rain gun. In the rain gun method, water is spread like rain. Initially, it is used to irrigate the crops which grow up to 4 feet high. Later, the size of these sprinklers has to be adjusted according to the level of the crops. This method of irrigation is mainly used in the sugarcane and maize crop fields. Drip irrigation. Drip irrigation is a system of crop irrigation which involves the controlled delivery of water directly to the root of each plant through a network of tubes or pipes. Drip irrigation is a type of micro irrigation system that has the potential to save water. This type of irrigation is suitable for big trees and horticulture. Horticulture is the art of practice of garden cultivation and management. Next is the center pivot irrigation. This Central pivot irrigation is also called as water wheel or circle irrigation. As you can see in the picture, in this method of crop irrigation, a equipment rotates around a pivot and crops are watered with sprinklers. Now let us have a short review on today's class. In this class we studied about irrigation and the main sources of irrigation in India, which includes well irrigation, canal irrigation and tank irrigation. Under well irrigation there are two types, open wells and tube wells. Again in canal irrigation there are two types, which are perennial canals and inundation canals. We also studied about the modern irrigation methods which are used in India. Some of the modern irrigation methods are rain gun method, drip method and central pivot irrigation. In the next class we will study about the multi-purpose river valley projects in India. Multi-purpose river valley project. The project which serves for multiple purposes are called as multi-purpose projects. Water is a precious gift of nature to humankind and millions of other species living on the earth. We know that our country receives only seasonal rainfall. So it is necessary to store water to satisfy water needs for the remaining part of the year. So dams are built across the river to store water. These dams are not only used for storing water but also it serves for multiple purposes. So it is called as multi-purpose river valley project. Initially, dams were built only for storing rainwater to prevent flooding, but now it became multi-purpose. The major aim of the multi-purpose river valley project is to irrigate the agricultural land and to generate electricity through hydropower. The various other purposes of a dam serves as irrigation, water supply for drinking and industrial purpose, hydropower generation, controlling floods, development of fisheries, navigation, etc. Hence, it is termed as a multi-purpose river valley project. So these are the multi-purpose river valley projects in India. Damodar Valley Project, Bakra Nangal Project, Hirakud Project, Kosi Project, Tungabhadra Project, Teri Project, Chambal Valley Project, Nagarjuna Sagar Project, Sardar Sarovar Project, Indira Gandhi Canal Project and Metu Dam. So while studying about these multi-purpose river valley project, it is important to know across which river they are constructed and what are the states benefited by these projects, and also how many square kilometer of land it irrigates and the megawatts of electricity generated by these projects. Bakra Nangal project is the highest gravity dam in the world. Gravity dams are massive constructions built out of concrete or masonry. Hirakud project is the longest dam in the world, and Kosi project is built across the river Kosi. River Kosi is called as the sorrow of Bihar because about 21,000 square kilometer of fertile agricultural land is flooded every year. So a dam is built across this river to prevent flooding. We will see in detail about some of these multi-purpose river valley project. Here the map shows the various multi-purpose river valley projects which are constructed in India and also across which river they are constructed. Now we will have a short discussion on the multipurpose river valley project in India. First we will see about the Bakra project. Bakra project is constructed across the river Sutlej. It is the highest gravity dam in India. Gravity dam means it is a massive construction which is built out of concrete or masonry. The states of Haryana, Punjab and Rajasthan are benefited by this project. The area of irrigation is 52,609 square kilometer and about 1500 megawatt electricity is produced from this dam. Next we will see about the Hirakud project. Hirakud project is constructed across river Mahanadi in Odisha. It is the longest dam in the world. The state benefited by this project is Odisha. It irrigates about 1,41,600 square kilometer of agricultural land. About 347.5 megawatt electricity is produced from this dam. Next we will see about Metu Dam. Metu Dam is in Tamil Nadu. It is constructed across the river Kaveri. It provides irrigation to the districts of Salem, Erode, Karur, Tiruchirappalli, Tanjavur, Tiruvarur and Nagapattinam districts of Tamil Nadu. It irrigates about 2,71,000 acres of farming land. Metu Dam is an important tourist spot in Tamil Nadu. Now we will have a short review on the multipurpose river valley projects. Multipurpose river valley projects not only helps to prevent flood but also it irrigates the agricultural land, generates electricity through hydropower generation, supplies water for both domestic and industrial purposes, helps in the development of fisheries, navigation, recreation, etc. While studying about the multipurpose river valley project, it is important to know across which river they are constructed, what are the states benefited from this project, and how many square kilometer of land it irrigates, and also the amount of electricity generated by those power plants. In the next class, we will study about agriculture and the types of farming. Hello students, today we are going to see a very familiar topic which is agriculture. As you all know, agriculture describes the practice of growing crops or raising animals. The word agriculture is derived from the Latin word agricultura, where agri means field and cultura means cultivation. Agriculture. Agriculture is the process of planting crops and raising of the domesticated animals. In India, about 50% of the population are employed in agriculture, and India accounts for about 25% of the national income through agriculture. Determinants of agriculture. Agriculture in India is determined by a set of factors, which includes physical factors, institutional factors, infrastructural factors, and technological factors. Physical factors includes the relief, climate, and soil. So, agriculture in any area depends upon the type of soil, climatic condition, and the topography of the region. That is whether the surface is a plain, plateau, or a mountain. Next is the institutional factors. The size of the farm determines the productivity. That is, if the size of the farm is less or if it is fragmented, then the yield will be also less. Next comes the land tenure. Tenure system defines who can hold and use resources for what length of time and under what conditions. And land reforms means transfer of ownership of the land from more powerful to less powerful person. The third is the infrastructural factors. The availability of irrigation, power supply, transport facility, credit, that is the availability of low interest loan, market, that is the marketing of the agricultural produces, availability of insurance in case of any destruction and storage facilities. All these comes under the infrastructural factors. And the last is the technological factors. If the farmer uses a high yielding variety of seeds, chemical fertilizers, insecticides and machinery, then the outcome will be also high. So these are the some of the important factors which determine the agriculture in India. Types of farming. In India, the following types of farming are practiced. First, we will see about the subsistence farming. In the subsistence type of farming, the farmers follow traditional method which gives low productivity because the farmers who follow the subsistence farming are usually poor. They cannot afford to buy modern equipments or they cannot afford to buy high inputs like fertilizers, pesticides, high yielding seeds, etc. In this type of farming, the farmers grow food crops to meet the needs of themselves and their family. A very little of the remaining is sold for income. In this type of farming, all the members of the family, that is the farmer's family, all the members are involved and they work together in the agricultural field. This type of farming is usually practiced in Punjab, some parts of Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. Shifting agriculture. This type of agriculture is performed by tribal people. First, they choose a piece of forest land and they involve in clearing that land by cutting down the trees and burning them. Later, they mix the ashes with the soil and crops are grown. After cultivating the crops for 2 or 3 years, the farmers then move to new areas and the process will be repeated there. They cultivate some grains and vegetable crops using the manual labor. Shifting agriculture is also called as slash and burn cultivation. Shifting agriculture is called by different names in different regions in India. In Assam, it is called as Jam. In Kerala, shifting agriculture is called as Poonam. In Andhra and Odisha, it is called as Podu. And in Madhya Pradesh, it is called as Bivar, Mashan, Penda, Beira, etc. Intensive farming. Intensive farming is a kind of agriculture where lot of money and labor are used. Large amount of labors are required for application of fertilizers and insecticides. Initial capital amount is particularly important to buy high efficient machinery for planting, cultivating, and harvesting, and also to buy modern irrigation equipments. The optimal use of these material and machines produce significantly greater crop yield. This intensification and mechanization has also been applied to the raising of livestock, where billions of animals such as cows, pigs, and chickens are being held indoors. They have become known as factory farms. This intensive farming is practiced in Punjab, parts of Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, and Madhya Pradesh. Dry farming. This type of farming is practiced in arid areas, that is in the dry region where there is no irrigation facilities. The crops which can withstand dry conditions are mainly cultivated here. Other crops are also grown here with the help of irrigation, but the yield will be generally low. Most of the areas under dry cultivation can cultivate only one crop per year. This type of farming is practiced in drier parts of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, etc. Mixed farming agriculture. Mixed farming is a type of farming which involves both the growing of crops and the raising of livestock. For example, as you can see in this picture, a mixed farm may grow cereal crops, fodder crops, etc. The fodder crops are used to feed the animals. They also keep cattle, sheep, pigs, or poultry for meat or milk. The dung from the cattle, that is the waste of the cattle, are used to fertilize the crops, and in turn the fodder crops acts as the food for the animals. So this method of farming is called as mixed farming agriculture. Per drop more crop. The government of India has introduced a scheme on micro irrigation to promote the modern irrigation techniques such as the drip irrigation and sprinkler irrigation technologies. The 5 states which has been benefited by this micro irrigation scheme are Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Gujarat, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. Terrace cultivation. Terrace farming is carried out on the slopes of mountains. Terraces are built on the slopes of the mountains or hills to create flat lands and to grow crops. Since the soil erosion is very common in the slopes, soil erosion is also checked every now and then. In our country, terrace cultivation takes place in the states of Punjab, Meghalaya, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. Now let us have a short review on today's class. In today's class, we studied about agriculture, the determinants of agriculture, and the types of farming. Under the types of farming, we studied about the subsistence farming, shifting agriculture, mixed farming agriculture, intensive farming, dry farming, and terrace cultivation. In the next class, we will study about the major crops cultivated in India. Crops. Crops are living plants grown by farmers. Let us see the major crops cultivated in India. The major crops of India are divided into 4 major categories. They are food crops, cash crops, plantation crops, and horticulture crops. Food crops refers to the world's major food supply derived from plants. That is, the crops which serves as food to a person in their daily routine, are called as food crops. Cash crops. Cash crops are also called as profit crop. It is an agricultural crop which is grown to sell for profit. Some of the cash crops are sugarcane, tobacco, cotton, jute, oil seeds, etc. Plantation crops. The term plantation crop refers to the crops which are cultivated on an extensive scale. Plantation crops are cultivated for the purpose of export. They are cultivated in large estates on hilly slopes. Some of the plantation crops are tea, rubber, and coffee. Horticulture crops. Horticulture crops refers to the cultivation of fruits, flowers, and vegetables. Food crops. Indian agriculture is largely dominated by the food crops due to its large population. Food crops includes cereals and pulses, among which rice, wheat, jowar, bajra, maize, barley, ragi, gram, and tur are important. We will see about some of the major food crops grown in India. Rice. Rice is an indigenous crop, which means it is the native crop of India. India is the second largest producer of rice in the world after China. Rice is an tropical crop, so it grows mainly with mean temperature of 24 degrees Celsius and annual rainfall of 150 centimeter. Deep, fertile, clayey or loamy soils are well suited for rice cultivation. Rice cultivation in India is carried out in three methods. They are broadcasting method, ploughing or drilling method, and transplanting method. In the broadcast method, it involves scattering of the seed manually or over a large area or in the entire field. Labor involved is very less, and so this method produces very less yield as compared to others. Second is the drilling method. Drilling method is exclusive in India. In this method, one person plows a hole in the land and the other person sows the seed. Ox is the most commonly used person to plow the land. Third is the transplantation method. It is the most commonly used method where seeds are first sown in the nursery and the seedlings are transplanted to the main field once they show 3 to 4 leaves. Although it is the best yielding method, it requires heavy labor. Due to increased use of high yielding variety seeds, many of the native variety of the seeds were disappeared. In 2016, the first 10 leading rice producing states are West Bengal, which stands first in the production of rice in India. Next comes Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, followed by Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Assam, and Haryana. Wheat. Wheat is the second most important food crop of the country after rice. It accounts for 22% of the total area of land for its cultivation and about 34% of the total production of food grains in the country. Wheat cultivation requires 10 to 15 degrees Celsius of temperature at the time of sowing and about 20 to 25 degrees Celsius of temperature at the time of ripening of grains. Over 85% of the India's wheat production comes from 5 states, namely Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. Maharashtra and Gujarat also contributes a major amount in wheat production. Cropping seasons in India. The three main cropping seasons in India are Kharif season, Rabi season and Zaid season. The Kharif season starts in the month of June and ends in September. The major crops cultivated during this season in northern states are rice, cotton, bajra, maize, jowar, and tur. In the southern states, the crops cultivated during this season are rice, ragi, maize, jowar, and groundnut. The Rabi season starts in the month of October and ends in March. The major crops grown in the northern states during this season are wheat, gram, rapeseeds, mustard, and barley. In the southern states, rice, maize, ragi, groundnut, jowar crops are grown. The Zaid season starts in the month of April and ends in the month of June. The major crops grown during this season are vegetables, fruits, and fodder. In the southern states, the major crops grown in this season are rice, vegetables, and fodder crops. Jowar. Jowar is the third important food crop of our country. It is an native crop of Africa. Jowar in Tamil, it is called as white solam. The grains are rich in carbohydrate, protein, minerals, and vitamins. Hence, it is called as a cheap food and healthy food to a large section of the poor population. It is also used as a fodder, that is, to feed the cattle. Jowar is mainly grown in Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Madhya Pradesh. These three states are the leading producers of jowar. Bajra. Bajra is also a native food of Africa. It forms the staple food for poor people. Staple food means that is, it is a food that is consumed routinely for standard diet. The stalks of these crop are used as fodder to feed the cattle. Bajra is a crop of dry season. It is grown mainly in Rajasthan, followed by Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Gujarat, and Maharashtra. Barley. Barley is one of the important cereals of our country. Cereals in Tamil called as dhaniyam. It is also called as the poor man's diet. Barley is used for making barley water and liquors. Barley is mainly grown in Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. These two states are the leading producers of the barley. Pulses. Pulses includes a large number of crops which are mostly leguminous and rich in vegetable protein. The plants which have bacteria called rhizobium in their root are called as leguminous plants. These plants are also called as nitrogen fixing plants. The bacteria present in the root extracts nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert it into a form required for the growth of the plant. So they are called as nitrogen fixing plants. The major pulse growing areas are Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. Cash crops. The crops which are cultivated for commercial purpose are called as cash crops. These crops include sugarcane, tobacco, fiber crops and oil seeds. First we will see about the cash crop, sugarcane. Sugarcane is the most important cash crop of India. India is the second largest producer of sugarcane in the world. Sugarcane serves as a major raw material for the sugar industry. The sugar industry not only manufactures sugar but also gur and kansari. Gur is the jaggery and kansari is the unrefined sugar. The sugar industries supplies molasses for alcohol industries and bagasse for paper industry. Molasses is the boiled juice of the sugarcane and bagasse is the residue left out of the sugarcane. India ranks third in sugar production in the world after Cuba and Brazil. In India, Uttar Pradesh is the leading producer of sugarcane, followed by Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Gujarat. The next cash crop we are going to see about is cotton. Cotton is the most important cash crop of India. It provides raw material to the textile industries. India ranks second in the production of cotton next to China. The major leading states which are involved in the production of cotton are Gujarat, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, and Punjab. The next cash crop we are going to see about is jute. Jute is a tropical fiber crop which grows well in the alluvial soil. It provides raw material for the jute industry. Jute is used for manufacturing gunny bags, carpets, hosiery, ropes, strings, rugs, clothes, tarpaulins, etc. West Bengal is the leading state both in cultivation and production of jute. The other cultivators of jute are Bihar, Assam, and Meghalaya. Oilseeds. Oilseeds are the premier source of fat in the Indian diet. Oilseeds are derived from number of crops like groundnut, rapeseeds, mustard, sesame, linseed, sunflower, castor seed, cottonseed, niger seed, etc. Oilseeds provide oil and oil cake, which are used for making lubricants, varnish, medicine, perfume, candles, soap, manure, and cattle feed. Gujarat is the India's largest oilseed producing state. Other major producers of oilseeds are Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Andhra Pradesh. In groundnut production, India is the second largest producer in the world after China. Plantation crops. Plantation crops are cultivated for the purpose of exports. These are cultivated in the large estates on hill slopes. You would have seen the tea estates, coffee estates, and spices along the hilly regions. Cultivation near the coast is also preferable as it facilitates exports. First, we will see about the plantation crop tea. Tea is an evergreen plant that mainly grows in the tropical and subtropical climate. Tea is a labor intensive and grows faster under light shade. Tea is called as a labor intensive crop because it involves more labors. Tea plants require high rainfall, but its root cannot tolerate waterlogging. That is, if there is no proper way to drain the water, it leads to excess of water in the soil, called as waterlogging. So therefore the roots of the plant cannot respire. This is called as waterlogging. So there must be a proper way to drain the water. The two major varieties of tea that is cultivated in India are Bohea which is originated from China, and Assamica, which is a native variety of India. A number of hybrid varieties of tea have been developed by mixing these two, that is the Bohia and Assamica varieties. India is the second largest producer of tea in the world next to China. In India, Assam is the largest producer of tea. The other states are Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and West Bengal, are also the leading producers of tea in India. Coffee. Coffee is grown in high altitude between 1000 to 1500 meter above the sea level. There are two main varieties of coffee. They are Arabica, which is of high quality and it is cultivated more in India. And the second variety is Robusta, which is of inferior quality. India is the seventh largest producer of coffee in the world. Karnataka is the leading producer of coffee in India. The next plantation crop we are going to see about is rubber. Rubber plantation was first established in Kerala in the year 1902. The rubber plantation requires hot and wet climatic condition, that is a temperature of about 20 degrees Celsius and rainfall of above 300 centimeter. The major rubber growing areas are Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, and Andaman and Nicobar Island. The next plantation crop we are going to see about is spices. Pepper, chilies, turmeric, ginger, cardamom, clove, and areca nut, which is also called as betel nut, are the major spices cultivated in India. India has been world famous for its spices since ancient times. These spices mostly used for flavoring or tempering cooked food and for preparing medicines, dyes, etc. Kerala is the leading producer of spices in India. Horticulture crops. It refers to the cultivation of fruits, flowers, and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables, as we all know, it is the important supplement to human diet, as they provide essential minerals, vitamins, and fibers required for maintaining health. India is in the second position in the production of fruits and vegetables. Here are the list of fruits which are cultivated in various states in India. India contributes about 13% of the world's production of vegetables. Now we will have a short recap on today's class. In today's class we studied about the major crops cultivated in India. Generally, the crops are divided into four main categories. They are the food crops, cash crops, plantation crops, and horticulture crops. In the next class, we will study about the livestock and fisheries in India. Agriculture not only means cultivation of crops but also raising of domesticated animals. So under agriculture, next we will see about livestock and fisheries. Livestock. Livestock is commonly defined as domesticated animals raised in agriculture setting. Livestock is an important component of the farming system in India. Livestock sector is socially and economically very important due to its multifunctional outputs. That is, it provides nutrient-rich food products. It generates income and employment to rural people. It provides manure input to the crops. Livestock sector contributes approximately 4% of national GDP, that is a gross domestic product, and 25.6% to agriculture GDP. As per the 19th livestock census, that is, this livestock census is conducted once in every 5 years. So as per the livestock census conducted in 2012, India's livestock sector is one of the largest in the world with 11.6% of world livestock population. Cattle constitute 37.3% of livestock population in India. That is, out of the total livestock population in India, cattle constitutes about 37.3%. India has second largest cattle population after Brazil at world level. In India, Madhya Pradesh leads with 10.3%, followed by Uttar Pradesh with 10.2%, and West Bengal stands third with 8.7%. Cattle population in India belongs to different breeds. These include milch breed, draught breed, and mixed or general breed. Goats. The goat is also called as the poor man's cow. It provides milk, meat, and even its skin and hair are useful for various purposes. It is the main source of meat for the country. In India, Rajasthan records first with 16%, followed by Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Buffaloes. Buffaloes are an important source of milk supply for India. Uttar Pradesh has the highest number of buffaloes, followed by Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh. The livestock census in India is conducted once in every 5 years. The first livestock census in India was conducted in the year 1919. Now let us see how the livestock census is conducted in Tamil Nadu. State government is conducting livestock census with the help of Department of Animal Husbandry at state level and Regional Joint Director at district level under the guidelines of Government of India Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, and also under the guidelines of Department of Animal Husbandry, Dairying and Fisheries. Dairy, meat and wool production. According to State and Union Territory Animal Husbandry Department, during the year 2016 and 17, the following states are the leading producers of milk in India. They are Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. While looking at the meat, Uttar Pradesh is the leading producer, followed by Maharashtra and West Bengal. The leading state in the wool production is Rajasthan, followed by Karnataka. Fisheries. Fisheries in India are a very important economic activity and a flourishing sector with varied resources and potentials. Fishing in India is a major industry in its coastal states. About 14 million people are employed in fishing. Fishing also helps in enlarging the food supply, generating employment, raising nutritional level, and earning valuable foreign exchange through exports. India produces about 3% of world's fish and it occupies second place among the fish producing nations of the world after China. In India, fishing is categorized into two types. They are marine or sea fisheries and inland or freshwater fisheries. Marine or sea fisheries. It includes coastal, offshore, and deep sea fisheries, mainly on the continental shelf up to a depth of 200 meter. Among the coastal states in India, Kerala leads in the marine fish production, inland or freshwater fisheries. If the fishing is carried on in the freshwater, such as rivers, lakes, canals, reservoirs, pond, tanks, etc., then it is said to be inland or freshwater fisheries. About 50% of the country's total fishing production comes from the inland fisheries. Andhra Pradesh is the leading producer in freshwater fisheries in India. In India, the important variety of fishes caught by the fishermen are catfish, herrings, mackerels, perches, eels, mullets, etc. Thus, the top 5 fish producing states in India are Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, Gujarat, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. Now, let us discuss the major issues faced by farmers in India. Indian agriculture and Indian farmers face several problems. Some of them are natural and some of them are man made. Now, let us see about the problems faced by our Indian farmers and Indian agriculture. The first issue is availability of small and fragmented land holdings. Due to the availability of small and fragmented lands, the farmer cannot grow more crops, so therefore the yield will be also less. The next issue is high cost inputs. As most of the farmers in India are small and marginal economically, they cannot afford to buy high yield quality of seeds. So therefore they cannot grow high yield crops. The third issue is the infertile soil. As the Indian soils have been used for growing crops over thousands of years, the quality of the soil, that is the fertility of the soil, would have been decreased. So it is very essential to restore the fertility of the soil. If the crops are cultivated in the infertile soil, the productivity will also be very low. The next issue is the lack of irrigation. Only 1/3 of the cropped area falls under irrigated area. We know water is an essential requirement for a crop to grow. So, to make agriculture reliable, irrigation facility has to be developed. Lack of mechanization. In spite of the availability of large scale mechanization, that is the availability of modern tools, agricultural tools, most of the farmers in India still use the manual labors and simple and conventional tools for agriculture. So therefore, the productivity will be low. The next is the soil erosion. Soil erosion is the removal of the top layer of the soil. Almost large mass of the fertile land suffer from soil erosion by wind and water. Agricultural marketing. So this is another an important issue in agriculture. Due to the absence of sound marketing facility, the farmers have to depend on local traders and middlemen for the disposal of their farm products. The farmer sell their agricultural products at low price to the traders and middlemen. So therefore, they cannot yield a good profit for their agricultural goods. The next issue is the inadequate storage facilities. The storage facilities in the rural areas are totally absent or it is inadequate. Under such conditions, the farmers are compelled to sell their products immediately after the harvest. So, whatever may be the condition of the market, the farmer has to sell their products immediately after harvest to avoid the wastage of their produced goods. The next issue is the inadequate transport. This is one of the main issues faced by the Indian agriculture. That is the availability of cheap and efficient means of transport is not provided to the farmers. Next is the scarcity of capital. The role of capital, that is money invested, plays an important role in the purchase of advanced farm machineries and equipments. If high quality modern machineries and equipments and high quality seeds are used, then the yield will be also very high. So agriculture is an important industry which requires a huge capital. Now let us see some of the other issues of the farmers. Disturbances of wild animals in hilly regions, insufficient power supply, high temperature, topography, availability of laborers, fuel, and insufficient rainfall are also the other issues faced by the farmers in India. The table here shows the list of important agricultural revolutions in India. Yellow revolution refers to oilseed production. Blue revolution refers to fish production. Brown revolution refers to leather, cocoa, and non-conventional products. Golden fiber revolution refers to jute production. Golden revolution refers to fruits, honey, and horticulture development. Grey revolution refers to fertilizers. Pink revolution refers to onion protection, pharmaceuticals, or prawn protection. Evergreen revolution refers to overall production of agriculture. Silver revolution refers to egg production or poultry production. Silver fiber revolution refers to cotton. Red revolution refers to meat production or tomato production. Round revolution refers to potato. Green refers to food grains, and white revolution refers to milk production. Now let us have a recap on the lesson. First, we saw about soil. Soil is the finest particle found on the earth's surface. There are many types of soil. Some of the major types are alluvial soil, black soil, red soil, and laterite soil. Next, we saw about irrigation. The main source of irrigation found in India are canal irrigation, well irrigation and tank irrigation. Next we studied about the multi-purpose river valley projects. In that the two main river valley projects are Damodar Valley projects and the Bakra Nangal project and also the Hirakud project. Then we saw about the cropping seasons, types of farming and also the livestock and fisheries. The three main cropping seasons in India are Kharif, Rabi and Zaid. The agriculture crops of India can be divided into food crops, cash crops, plantation crops and horticulture crops. We also studied about the livestock and the fishing in India. The fishing in India is categorized into marine fishing and inland fishing. India has achieved significant growth in agriculture, milk, fish, oilseeds, fruits and vegetables owing to green, white, blue and yellow revolutions. All these revolutions have brought prosperity for the farmers. But still, Indian agriculture and Indian farmers lack in some aspects. If we want inclusive growth, both central and state governments have to focus on agriculture sector. Though the future of India is industrialization, the contribution of agriculture would always prove to be vital for making India a powerful and stable economy in the future.